Welcome to the Ditch the Struggle podcast. I'm your host, Alana Ruoso. I'm a graphic designer and career and success coach who knew I could do better, but kept falling short of where I wanted to go. From career struggles and anxiety to feeling like nothing is ever going to work out, I'm here to explore all the messy stuff that breaks us down and builds us up. So join me as we transform ourselves and finally ditch the struggle. Hi everyone, welcome back. I realized that it has been a very long time since I've done an episode specifically on anxiety. And since that is part of my story, not all of it by any means, I talk about it in the trailer. I thought I should revisit the topic. I don't think I've really had a specific episode about it since episode 4, which is called Anxiety Symptoms, Weird, Wild, and WTF, which I think sums it up. Still a very popular episode. I dive into some of the things that I've experienced physically and some of the things I've done to remedy it, or at least some of the things I have done to manage anxiety as you're kind of going through life. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach. I have said this before as well. You will never find me giving you a blueprint, do this, this, and this, A, B, and C, and you're going to get this result. It does not work that way. I do not believe it works that way for anybody. I find healing is a deeply personal experience. We bring our histories to the table that are completely different, even if we've grown up the exact same way in the same city. It really means nothing. We just have different experiences, and every tiny microscopic experience affects how we operate today. So I just don't subscribe to the idea that you do this, this, and this, and it's going to work out for you. But I do believe in sharing kind of experiences, and that's why I'm here. That's why I like to show up. And so I thought I would share 10 things I've learned about anxiety through my lens, and to see if maybe this helps someone, gives you some perspective and gives you things to think about, because I do spend a lot of time talking about this, and I do have to manage some anxiety. And if you listen to my episode about being and living in Ireland, I was feeling very displaced. So some stuff came up for me for sure. I'll dive into that a little bit more. But let's just start with number 1. Nothing is wrong with you. So if you are someone who has anxiety, experiences it, nothing is wrong with you. There's just a part of you that is reacting to parts of yourself and parts of the world. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I don't know how anyone does not have some anxiety living in the banana town world that we live in right now, especially if you're in corporate, which is banana town. So you are going into a very stressful job. You probably have Teams or Slack pinging, which is, I think, the downfall of society, one of the downfalls, those two programs, or at least being on demand and accessible every second. So there is so much going on around us. I think it's very normal to have anxiety. We are getting too much information, too much is coming at us. We are bombarded. And I do think we're just disconnected from the things that are meaningful in life. And a lot of us are lost and we're trying to figure out our way. And if you're someone listening to a podcast like this, you are trying to find your way. And that I really appreciate and I understand. But there is nothing wrong with you. This is just something you are experiencing. And so one of the things I make sure of is that I never say my anxiety. I'll just say the anxiety, or anxiety is acting up, or it's coming up for me. I don't want to personalize it, because the more I personalize it, the more I'm identifying with it. So I like to kind of try and keep it at arm's length, which I know is really hard when you're going through it. Been there, done that, as I always say, bought the t-shirt, burned it a million times, but there's nothing wrong with you. And I feel like that is one of the most important things to remember. One of my absolute favorite quotes is by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and it is this. Most people have heard me say this at some point. As long as you are still breathing, there is more right with you than wrong with you. So you're going through something. It doesn't mean you are damaged. You are not succeeding in life. You are just experiencing things differently, and it is hard. I get that. Number 2 is, if you are someone with anxiety, you do need to build some kind of toolbox to manage it. So you're not I don't think I'm trying to eliminate it necessarily. I'm trying to manage it, get a hold of it, and then let it go. But I had to learn that it is my responsibility to build that toolbox. And this is what I dive into more in episode 4. I have had to work with a lot of different practitioners, and it was not easy. It was not a quick fix. I did not choose any quick fixes. I wanted to get to the root cause of my anxiety, and I know what some of my triggers are, but I realized it was up to me to build that toolbox and take responsibility for it, that no one was just going to magically take it away from me. Yes, I work with a lot of different practitioners from both a physical, a mental, and a spiritual perspective to get a hold of it and to manage it and to kind of work through it. But I'm the one making those appointments. I'm the one showing up. I'm the one doing the hard work. I'm the one, if I had to see a therapist, I'm the one doing that. And over time, I have built a toolbox that includes different practitioners. It includes different techniques on myself, meditation, being in nature a lot more, and quite a few supplements. And I have an amazing kind of toolbox of supplements that work really well for me. And it is different for everybody else. It took me about 9 months of working with a naturopath to figure out what would work for me. Because a lot of the things that worked for other people didn't at all help me like one bit. And that's frustrating. But eventually I kind of got there and I have things that are set in place. And so now I know I have things I can lean into and rely on. And that alone reduces anxiety because you feel like you can cope. So build a toolbox, and that is your responsibility to build. Number 3 is that external situations are absolutely a factor. So it's like situational anxiety is a thing. The toxic boss, the bad job, the overpacked schedule, having too much to do, being in a relationship with a specific person, having a friendship that is going wonky. External factors are absolutely a factor. They are not often, well, sometimes they are totally the cause of it, if you find that this is just only spiked for you for a few times in your lifetime. But often that external situation is triggering something in you that has been an issue with you for a long time. This is my experience. This is my observation. But we cannot dismiss external factors. So when I did leave my toxic job at Blush Cosmetics, I did start to settle down. But here's the other thing that took so much longer than I thought. I know people who have left toxic jobs where their anxiety went mental, like crazy. And a year later, they're still struggling. It takes longer than you think. It's like getting over burnout. I think Dr. Carolyn Leaf had a post on Instagram about how burnout actually takes 1 to 3 years to recover from. So just keep that in mind that it takes a lot longer. But the external situation and the factors of that and the impact of that is real on anxiety. Number 4 is your body is talking to you. Please listen. I know it's really hard to do. And sometimes I'm trying to listen and I was like, I still don't understand what you're saying. I don't know what's going on here. But it is trying to communicate with you. It is giving you feedback. And you probably will have to look at some of your past issues and trauma and do the work. There's not really any getting around that. Again, you can't just take something and think it's going to go away. If you do that, it can come back worse. And I have seen this happen to people. They just were avoidant people, like didn't want to deal with their stuff and were completely having a hard time. And they have full breakdowns. I've seen this actually happen, and they have to put the pieces back together. And some of them kind of get through it and don't go and figure out what the root cause is. And I was like, you hope it doesn't come back, but there is a chance that can happen because your body is trying to get your attention at all times. And anxiety is a great way to do that because you feel so unsettled, so ungrounded. I get a lot of physical symptoms. So I get really cold, very shaky. I know my anxiety is spiking when I start bumping into things and dropping things. There was a couple months ago, I dropped something 3 days in a row and broke it. I was like, okay, this is me now. I have to understand that I have to recalibrate and listen because how many more dishes can I break, right? So your body is talking to you. Please listen and try and tune in to what it's saying, which leads me to number 5. Anxiety is not punishment. It is feedback. We feel like when the anxiety is spiking that it is a betrayal. That is like, how could you do this to me, body? Why are you doing this to me? Why is never a great question to ask. What is happening? You're letting me down. I can't go into this presentation with this anxiety. There's so many reasons for us to get upset about what's happening, whether the anxiety is spiking physically, emotionally, whatever level it's coming at you. It's not punishment, it's strictly feedback. And when you can disconnect slightly and look at it like that, again, the body talking to you, it's a lot easier to engage with it in a way that's a slightly detached, but a way that's more like observational and a way that's more curious. So curiosity is one of the most important things for anyone in personal development. Like, this is curious that I do this. Coaches, when we're trained, we are trained to get very, very curious because you do not want to question anybody. You don't want to be having judgment. You just want to be having curiosity. And that can be really helpful when you are dealing with anxiety. Number 6 is being an empath matters. If you are an empath, this will significantly affect your anxiety and how you are processing things. You are, feeling the world out and seeing it and experiencing it differently. I have an episode on being an empath and in relationship to a narcissist, but I do talk about what it's like to be an empath. I mean, I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I'm going to guess the empathic people of the world are experiencing more anxiety than others. Like, I have a friend who is absolutely lovely. I would just never define her as an empath. And she doesn't have anxiety. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't experience it. She gets stressed for sure. But her default setting is to go into freeze mode. She shuts down. She can't function. She can't get anything done. She can't even do a load of laundry. Like, it's hard. So she's experiencing difficulties in different ways. But she doesn't know what it's like to be an anxious person and to kind of feel the buzzy feeling or to feel like the brain fog that comes with it. She doesn't know it. And that's great. But again, she's got her own challenges. Like, this is why it goes back to number 1, nothing is wrong with you, because like everyone's going through something. They may not be experiencing anxiety the same way or experiencing it at all, but they're definitely going through stuff that's difficult. So being in freeze mode is absolutely debilitating. You can't get stuff done. And then you start going into a mental spiral about how you're just like being lazy and you beat yourself up. And that's a very difficult place to be. So I wouldn't wish that on anyone either. But the empaths of the world are going to feel anxiety a little bit differently. It's probably going to hit harder. So if that's who you are, it's important to recognize that. And then you have to navigate differently, which leads me to number 7, which is something I've just kind of been percolating on, which is edit your intake. Okay, you want to edit your intake, whether you're an empath or not. Everybody who's going through anxiety, you have to be discerning about what you're bringing into your life, bringing into your world, bringing into your space, bringing into your closet, bringing into your body. Absolutely everything you intake energetically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything has to be looked at because it is all adding to your stress, the way you live your life, overwhelm, and having too much on your plate. It's never going to help anybody with anxiety. Like, no one with anxiety is like, you know what I'm going to do? I think if I just add 20 more things to my to-do list, I'm going to feel better. It doesn't work that way. And there's obvious things we can think about. It's like, okay, I'm going to lessen my workload, take on less clients, all of that stuff. But it's actually not just about removing. I'm using the word edit very specifically here because it is about moving things around, and sometimes it's about adding. So the editing process is about getting rid of what's not working and sometimes bringing in what you need more of. Like, you might need more joy and play time and like fun stuff in your life. You may need to go ride more roller coasters to reduce your anxiety. That's adding something to your life. It is not necessarily about like just getting rid of all the stressful stuff and then having nothing to do but just looking and staring at a blank wall. Like, that's not life, realistic, obviously. But it's truly about looking at absolutely everything you consume, including food. That was something I had to look at. I had to give up caffeine. Or no, sorry, I gave up coffee. I did not give up caffeine. I still drink regular tea. But in 2019, I have an episode about this. I got really sick with acid reflux to the point where I actually couldn't eat, and then I actually couldn't swallow water. So I got really sick. I had to give up coffee slowly. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I did find that being off coffee helps any kind of anxiety because it's not going to make it better for me. This is just me. Again, not a blueprint. I know someone who talks openly about having anxiety, ADHD, and OCD, and they had to go off coffee for some kind of health plan that they were on. And interestingly, she found it didn't change her symptoms at all. Now, she's one of these people who I always laugh because she's like, oh, I have to stop drinking coffee at 8 p.m. I was like, 8 p.m.? Oh my God. Like, if I had one, I'd have to stop my noon. She's just different. Everyone processes things differently. So she can have coffee in her life. Like, it doesn't make anything worse. But the point is to look and be really discerning and to get really critical and experimental, like try what's working for you. I can't be on a lot of email mailing lists, like small things, just like I don't want to go into my email every day and have 50 emails from Banana Republic and The Gap and Old Navy who send them like 500 times. Like any email list that starts sending me too many emails, I unsubscribe because I just get annoyed. Why do I want to go into my email box every day and be annoyed? So all of these things, these are like micro things that we intake and bring into our life that can either bring us up or tear us down. So I've become extremely discerning about everything I'm kind of doing. Kind of look at what I mean. I kind of have kind of figured that out. I just, who I'm spending time with, well, all of those things. I'm constantly editing my intake, especially with things I'm consuming, like media-wise. So I talked a lot about this. I limit my social media time. One of the things that was very difficult for me in Ireland is that we were living in a house where the news was playing all the time. And I mean, like all the time. I don't know how many times a day. That was rattling my nervous system to all hell because I was trying to tune it out, but I could hear snips and pieces. Whether it's conscious or not, you are picking it up. That's what you have to understand is your subconscious is taking in everything all the time. And I started to feel really wacky. And I was like, oh, this is because I'm having to listen to this a lot and it's just floating around in the ether and I'm picking it up and I don't like it. It was I'd say that was probably the hardest thing for me being away and not living in my own house. So edit your intake and just be really conscious of what you're bringing into your life and bringing into your world and bringing into your energetic field. Number 8 is pushing it away makes it worse. So there is this tendency, of course, as humans, that when something doesn't feel good, we want to push it away. It's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I do not want that. Go away. I find that makes it worse. This is my observation that it is an invitation to dive into what's the root cause. And you can't just swat things away, which kind of goes back to that thing about anxiety not being punishment. Your body is talking to you. Pushing it away works for so long. Like I can definitely think back to like kind of my college years when the anxiety was spiking. I maybe because I was younger, I was just like had the tenacity to just keep going. It hadn't built up enough like for me to totally have a breakdown, but I could swat it away a little bit, but it always came back is the problem. It's like a boomerang. It's just going to hit you square in the face and it's going to hurt. So that strategy doesn't work for too long. So I would encourage you to kind of, again, get to that root cause and see where you can make changes in your life because you will need to make changes in your life if you are wanting to move through anxiety. That's going to have to happen. So if you don't like change, this can be a tough one. Number 9 is move your body. A stagnant pond you cannot be. I'm not going to tell you to go do a boot camp class or any of that stuff. I'm never that person. But moving your body is incredibly important. And I also talk about this in my episode about building confidence. Our bodies are meant to move. And the way I feel anxiety works is that it's just like almost like an overflow. It's like we're overflowing with energy. You know how they say anxiety and excitement can kind of feel similar? It's the same way. And sometimes when you're super excited, you have to jump around. Like you win the lottery, you're not just going to sit on the couch and go, okay, cool. No, you're going to jump up and down. You're going to do a little bit of screaming. Anxiety kind of needs a place to go. The energy has to be dispersed from your body. So moving it can be breathing techniques. It can be walking. I have just found that anytime I'm feeling anxious, the best thing I can do is move my body and start, again, taking that stagnant pond that's just like overflowing with stuff and kind of feeling more like I'm an ocean, I'm a lake. I can move and things are going to flow through me because I don't want it to feel stuck, and energy needs a place to go. And there's energy kind of brewing in the body. It's got to go. And, a walk is often the most beneficial thing that you can possibly do. I had one episode of kind of anxiety spike in Ireland, and I was like, Declan, take me to the forest. It was like 9:00 at night. Anyone who saw my Instagram, I had quite a few forest images. And the best thing about being in Ireland in the summer is that it is light out till like 11:30 at night. So at 9:00 at night is like, Deck, take me to the forest. He's like, okay, he doesn't even have to like ask me why. And a little walk around the forest was exactly what I needed, because nature really helps me ground, and that's my healing place. And I actually think that's the healing place for all humanity, but we're very disconnected from it. And we keep thinking that we just need another device to fix us. We just need another protein shake. We just need to do all these things to fix ourselves. No, let's just get back to the basics, connecting with nature, connecting to ourselves, connecting to movement. I think it's non-negotiable with anyone experiencing anxiety. I mean, truly, and again, having lived a very like a corporate life at times, how can you just kind of go into a job, sit all day, like in stressful meetings, Teams is pinging and clinging and danging and clanging and Slack and all that stuff. And the emails are coming in. You wolf down your lunch. Then maybe after work, you go have a few drinks with a friend, and then you come home and sit on TikTok for 2 hours. I mean, this is how a lot of people live their lives. And this is not coming from a place of judgment, but out of observation, that is not going to help us. Even if you're maybe going to the gym a couple times a week, it might not be enough because the body just needs consistent small movements. So personally, just for me, that's working right now is breaking my day up into 3 segments of movement. That can be very gentle stuff, but I'm really aiming for 3. So something in the morning, something in the afternoon, or towards the end of my day. And then almost every evening, Declan and I do a 2-kilometer walk after dinner. That is very doable. It is nothing crazy, but it doesn't always happen. But this kind of breaking things up, moving my body, this is giving my my whole self its best chance to manage things, especially because I'm actually still processing a few things from the trip to Ireland and stuff that happened. So number 10, anxiety is not a forever sentence, and life is possible without it. I know this can be hard to believe. If you're someone with chronic anxiety, you're like, this has been my life. Well, I once spoke to an anxiety specialist, and he said he's seen hundreds and probably thousands of people with anxiety. And he's like, even someone with chronic anxiety has moments in their day or their life where they don't have it. It may be a minute here and there, but it exists. So you need to cling to that. It's like, if I can have 1 minute that I'm not feeling anxious, often it's in a moment of joy or play or creativity. Like play, and like doing something fun. It doesn't, again, have to be the roller coaster. I'm not going on a roller coaster, FYI, but anything that's joyful or creative, it's really hard for anxiety to find you. This is why people love doing the coloring books. This is why people love doing the knitting. Actually, I'm very excited. We have a guest coming on who's going to talk about knitting. Anytime we're in a state of play, anxiety has a hard time finding you. But it's really good at finding you when you're on Teams. It's just, that is not play. That is like the opposite. I'm really laying into Teams today. Oh my gosh. But, so anxiety is just not a forever sentence. It's going to come up in waves potentially. But it is possible to live your life without it, even if you've had it. Like, it's possible to let go of anything, actually. You can have had an identity and you can move from that identity. You can have been that person that was like, never wanted to move their body to someone who's like running marathons, if that's what you want to do. You can change. And I got to say, like, I do love that there's open conversations about mental health now, but so much of it is about keeping us stuck in a mental health repair loop. It's like, we just need to keep managing it, and like, it's never going to go away. I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Maybe this will be something that you always have. Maybe this is something that I'm always going to have, or it's going to pop up. But I'm not choosing to believe that, actually. I'm trying to change that story because I know I've had long runs where it's really not a part of my life. I've had long runs where it was a part of my life. If I reflect on those parts of my life, I can kind of see what was going on, right? A lot of work stress, a lot of corporate hustle, a lot of overpacked calendar, things that weren't creatively satisfying, things that were not fun, dog stress. Like the biggest trigger for me was dealing with a senior dog and knowing that things were not going to end well. Like the anxiety was spiking big time because I was scared and I was in a state of fear. So of course, anxiety is gonna pop up. But this idea that we have to just live with it and it defines us, that's why I've said I will never define myself by anything I've experienced in my life. It's just part of my story. It's definitely not going in my Instagram profile. It's definitely not something I talk about with every single person. I don't go into a party and be like, hey, so I'm this anxiety person, or I've had it. Even though I do feel I know a lot about it and I can empathize with anyone who goes through it. My experience is different. It's never the same. I've never walked in their shoes, but I can empathize to a certain extent. So there's that option of choosing that this isn't necessarily who you're going to be forever. This is not the path you have to walk. That your body can actually heal and it can shift and can transform. And without that optimism, it's very hard to heal. Like it's very hard to not to stay stuck. And I personally never want to stay stuck. I want to move through things. I want to come out on the other side. And I do think that's possible for everybody. So those are my 10 things I've learned about anxiety. There may be a part to this because I can already think of some other things to talk about. But I will leave it there for now. And don't forget to go to episode 4 if you want to hear more about some of the things that I have done to manage my anxiety that have been super beneficial for me. Take care, guys. Thank you for joining me today on Ditch the Struggle. Be sure to follow this podcast, visit alanaruoso.com, and of course, share it so we can build each other up. And before I go, remember to be your own best advocate, take baby steps for the win, and forget about a linear career path. It's overrated and you are doing just fine. See you next time.